Hi everybody, this is Carly, Chief Executive of Driving Instructors Association, making another amateur video of my own here for you, totally unscripted, so we might not cover everything we're supposed to, and we'll probably fluster and blunder our way through it, but I hope this helps in some way. Thank you for all your messages of support and your questions and queries. We are trying to get through them as fast as we can. Understandably, we've been inundated with queries and calls. We continue to service the helpline. If you could, I'll make a plea, just email support@driving.org first, and then we'll endeavour to get back to you as soon as possible. It's quite hard for us to answer the volume of calls, so being able to see the emails and effectively triage those to get back to the most urgent ones most quickly is really helpful. It's not that we don't want to talk to you on the phone, it just helps everybody if we do it this way. I'm joined here today by a face you might be familiar with. Howard Redwood is our Head of Road Safety, an extremely experienced ADI and fleet trainer himself. He's going to give you the gen on training related things, licensing related things, testing related things. I'm going to stick to what I know, the financial side of things, the business side of things, and together we'll hopefully give you some useful advice. If we don't answer something, you may find it on our other advice resources. We are keeping the website updated as we receive advice ourselves. Go to driving.org/coronavirus -advice for anything related to the COVID-19 outbreak and how that impacts our profession. So just quickly, going through what we've been doing so far and what we're planning on doing. The website's been offering support, and we've been sending out emails to members for over a fortnight now on the coronavirus issue. Members have been sent specific emails and text messages related to the financial aspects of those. Within half an hour of the Chancellor making his announcements on Friday evening, I did send an email out with sources of financial support on there. We do believe there will be an announcement from the Chancellor within the next 24 to 48 hours detailing what they can do for self-employed individuals. We have not been lobbying on this issue. The first letter I wrote last week to the Business Secretary and the Chancellor highlighting the issues faced by this Secretary was the first bit of lobbying, and we've continued to do that as an independent organisation and alongside our colleagues in NASP all this week and even today as well. And we will not let up on that front until we have some better answers. My feeling is he will do something on the self-employed. I think it will come from your tax. I think they will look at either a blend or individual solutions which will look at your self-assessed tax that you've been paying. They'll possibly give a deferment on income tax or halt income tax for the time being, and they may give a rebate on taxes that you've paid and that HMRC can see via your self-assessment as well. As soon as we have information on that and whether it's going to happen and what it is, again, I will send out that summary to you as clearly as I possibly can. We are hopefully trying to help you find jobs if you are looking for alternative work. There are over 50,000 vacancies currently available in logistics and transport. Those are being advertised daily by organisations like the Ministry of Defence, like the supermarkets, like anybody who's in the delivery chain, which is very, very important to all of us at this moment in time. We're creating a section on driving.org right now and on drivertrainer.org where we will list any jobs that we have had notice of. Indeed.co.uk and jobs engines just like that are very useful places for you to do your own searching as well, and we'll endeavour to send out a weekly email throughout this crisis of opportunities that we've seen out there that you may want to look at for some alternative short-term employment. We know it's not ideal not being able to do your regular training job, but we want to try and help you keep your wolf from this door at this very important time. I've also been talking to partners such as Highways England and their Driving for Better business division, which works with large fleets, to highlight the fact that through our membership, we can help them with the recruitment of key personnel, either in training roles or in delivery driver roles as well at the same time. And Howard, who's had a lot of experience training drivers for fleet in the food delivery world in particular, will give you some pointers in a moment about the role itself. And actually also, very importantly, how to manage your risk and how companies do that whilst you're making deliveries to people at this time. I've also been talking to and emailed today franchise heads. Members have sent us emails very concerned about their franchise payments and what their franchise will do to support them at this challenging time. I have asked them that very question. What advice are you giving to your franchisees? Are you able to help them in financial hardship with things like payment holidays from their franchise fees? I will let you know again as soon as any of them come back to me with what broad guidance they are giving to their franchisees. I would suggest in the meantime, like I said in the other video, take it upon yourselves as well to contact people who you owe money to, like mortgage lenders, like landlords if you're in rental, and like franchises, and see if you can have a payment holiday or negotiate any kind of break from your payments whilst you're suffering this financial hardship. And I'd suggest you maybe do that with some of your insurers as well. Again, I'll certainly email some of the large trading car insurers and ask what their advice and response would be at this time. I'm going to throw over to Howard in a second. The one thing I would like to say, just returning to the topic of our support desk at the moment, again, reiterate, can you please email support@driving.org first rather than on the phone, just so we can arrange for somebody to call you back. Some members are saying that they have had nothing from us. There has been thousands of emails going out over the last few weeks, and there has been a lot of information on the website. I would suggest, if you're not receiving those, you email membership@driving.org to ensure we have the right email address for you, and maybe that is why they're not getting through. I'd also check your spam folder as well. That'd be very useful. Whilst the majority of you have been so kind and so patient, despite the frustration and worry that you have at the moment with our advisors and on email, there have been instances where people have been very abusive, either on online forums where apparently it is okay to be abusive to people from behind a keyboard, or on emails and phone calls. Whatever is happening during this crisis, and whatever worries and concerns you have, and however angry you are feeling about this, there is still a zero tolerance policy here at DIA about abuse to my staff. I have very broad shoulders. If you want to have an argument with somebody, debate something, or just vent your anger, please contact me direct so we can have that conversation. I'd very much appreciate that on behalf of my team. They all continue to work. Some of them are still coming into the office. Some of them have underlying health issues, which makes it actually quite risky for them, but they're very committed and want to help the ADI industry. So we would ask that people consider them as human beings whilst they're interacting with them as well, as much as we consider your very human plight at this moment in time as well. So I'm going to throw over to another favourite human being of mine, which is Howard, who'll give you a bit more information and advice.
Okay, thank you. I'm Howard Redwood, and I work on the support desk here at the DIA as Head of Road Safety. Just want to bring to your attention that the whole of the industry is now effectively working under the Coronavirus Act 2020. That's a living, breathing document, and the government are able to move things around and change things to a certain degree within that law that was passed last week. It was an emergency law. Things are very much an emergency, and therefore there's going to be a lot of information thrown at you that will change from time to time, and the DIA are making it their duty to keep you up to date all the time on the website with emails, etc. So we're asking you to pay attention. Whatever we send you is not sales literature. It is very important you read it, please, and also pass it to your friends. What I'm going to say to you now is the calls that I am fielding, a lot of them have involved the theory test certificates. It is not possible at present for the DVSA to extend the theory test certificates beyond their date. So if with the test centres being closed for 3 months for the practical test centres, and it's 4 weeks for the theory test centres, if theory test certificates expire within these times, I'm afraid at the moment as it stands, the student would have to retake the theory test. I have contacted the DVSA to try and get clarification that the Coronavirus Act 2020 is not able to do a judicial change of short-term law for this, and I have not had it yet confirmed. So if we get that for you, and it can be extended, we'll let you know straight away. Other advice we have as well, that the people that are able to train, although NASPA said you shouldn't train, the fleet trainers probably will for the essential workers. And we're looking at the health professionals, food delivery personnel, and the MOD. This includes driver trainers needed for this area. There's about 25,000 jobs in the transport driving sector. The remainder of the jobs that Carly mentioned are actually in grocery. So there's a fair old jobs. But the thing is with this is that you as ADIs, you may not want to be in a situation where you take on a second job, but it could be necessary, but only if you do not fall under the category of enhanced risk to yourself with underlying trends. So for those people who are fairly fit who can do this, The industry itself, this has come from the British Retail Consortium. That's the monitor of all of the supermarkets, including the German ones, which are over here. Information is that there are vacancies available for drivers. You have advanced driving qualifications, and you also have your CRB checks. So as far as an organisation is concerned, you are relatively minimal risk, and that's the people they want. So it's worth you trying to apply. In terms of risk to catching the virus whilst doing this, you would not be expected to go in to people's houses carrying food. And the general practice now is that phone calls are made prior to making deliveries to find out if people are in self-isolation, and if they are, the food is left in bags at the gates. It's not taken to the door. It's not taken to the door. So the vehicles are also wiped down thoroughly, just like you would your car. The vans need wiping down. You'll be working on your own. So again, the risk is really quite minimal. It's really as to how fit you feel you are, and if you want to take on that type of role. If you have letters coming through about standards checks, they are coming through to people. The letters have been churned out because they're sent out automatically. If you receive one, what we'd like you to do is to email the DVSA on the email known as PADI, which is padi@dvsa.gov.uk, and just confirm that you have received a standards check letter. It might be to say it's been cancelled, but even if it has, just confirm you've received it, because that's going to help the DVSA put their resources together to know how many people they actually have which are waiting to be assessed. And when all this is over, they can sort that out, and they can allocate the examiners required for that away from the learner practical tests. We will get a backlog of practical tests. It's very likely that the DVSA will do what they did about 9-10 years ago, where they did late evening tests and they did weekends to try and catch up. It's very likely they'll have to do that. So the backlog of driving tests will be there, but it will not be significant for a great length of time. We're anticipating the DVSA to put some intervention into this early enough for things to get back to normal as soon as possible. It will affect driving instructors. It will make things slow down. So what we're asking you to do is, while you're unable to train, is to try and keep contact with your students any way you can. If you can give them some homework to do, especially if they're going for their theory tests and they haven't taken it yet, there might be a delay. But if you can do some work with them to help them on their way, give them some quizzes on the highway code, on the traffic signs, some highway code questions, etc. We will be producing some bits and pieces for you in the very near future. We've nearly got it ready, where you'll have access to that you can use. We'd like you to try and keep involved with those students, so when things start calming down, they are going to come back to you as your instructor, because you've helped them all the way through.
And as I've said, we're going to be sending out communications to help you with your pupils. You may remember in our magazine, we did a series recently of 3 articles about doing virtual training, which is something some instructors are considering doing. Group training online using things like Skype, Facebook and WhatsApp groups. I will be doing a short online training session specifically about that topic, what you can teach, how you can teach it, all those kind of things. Well, we're not saying you can't charge for those either, so you still could make income from delivering your training virtually now in this very immediate need with the COVID-19 outbreak, but also it's something you could set up for future when you return to normal work, you know, using a bit of virtual training alongside your normal practical training as well. But that address just again that we just said about any inquiry to do with your standards check, you're worried you're about to expire on your license and what's going to happen with that, any inquiry about your licensing being disrupted by this particular crisis, email that padi@dvsa.gov.uk email address. Anything like these email addresses we'll put into our written advice.
You mentioned it wrong. It's padi@dvsa.gov.uk. Okay?
We'll stick that online so it's there in text for you as well. DVSA we expect, and we've been asked to contribute frequently asked questions, FAQs to them today. We expect those to be distributed via the DVSA direct email either this evening or tomorrow morning. They're just putting all that together now, which is them taking any queries from us, from wider members, and trying to answer them in as broad sense as they possibly can as well. So keep a lookout for that particular email as well. When Karen and I have got time tomorrow, probably now, we're also going to do a specific video for rider trainers. We're not neglecting you. We're still working on stuff for rider trainers as well. And we're working in partnership with organisations like MCIA to get our lobbying together done properly, and also to share advice and information. And we're also going to do an email and a video specifically for diamond examiners. I know we've been keeping in touch with you all anyway, but we wanted to do something specific to your needs as well as doing these broader broadcasts. Is there anything else you think for the time being, Howard? I think we've covered as much as we've got the big questions on. As I said, we'll continue to do this if you think they're helpful. It's hardly Hollywood production levels here, and it's very fast, I know. But we think they're useful for you. Please drop us a line and put in the comments what else you'd like us to cover in these videos. And as I said, we'll also be doing some training videos and opening up courses in our DIA Academy shortly as well, so you can do some online CPD and updating whilst you're not able to work as normal. In the meantime, as we said last time, keep well, keep safe, and we'll keep you updated. And thank you for all your support of DIA so far as well. Take care, guys.